I originally come out of Queens, which is the desert oasis, and that's where I got it. How it came to me first was my older brother Qasim, um, and it came to me via the Nation of Islam because they were very strong and predominant under the leadership of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Um, I was 10, 11.
10 or 11.
10, 11, yeah. One of my older brothers, Qasim, and then his Ron Du. But Qasim was a devout in that area. So, I mean, it spread. Um, so I went there, but I didn't. I mean,
So does this was it like so you say he was in the Nation of Islam?
He was in the Nation of Islam, yeah.
Okay.
He
Right.
remained Muslim. Actually, he took when he took the transition in '75 after Elijah passed. He stayed. Well, he stayed Muslim, traditional. Yeah, traditional. Yeah, right. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, he went. Yeah, he stayed there. Although he grounded in history. That was what kept him from being fanatical. In terms of like with Orthodox Islam in that area. You know what I mean? Because he understood his history. But I'm from a place in Queens called Guardstown, it's called Bricktown. And my man, Justice Hakim,
Okay.
was that's my tree.
Right.
My tree is him, and his tree is our tree is Black Messiah,
Okay.
because it was Black Messiah, Minister Lamique, Justice Hakim, and then us,
Okay.
right? Also understanding, there was a lot going on. You had the guard, who was largely just a lot of people, a lot of moving parts with that too. The guard Prince Iself, who was with Allah B, Born Allah. When they did the show and prove, he was largely responsible. That was God B's brother, who he came out there and was teaching. Also,
So what year was that?
yeah, that was like late '60s, early '70s.
Okay.
Because again, the show and prove is '71.
Okay.
But they were out there, Prince herself, maybe a little bit before then.
Okay.
Now I didn't have the knowledge then, so I'm young, so I'm sure Justice Hakim and them were getting it then too, and the Divine Prince, all of that. That's my tree, yeah.
And you say you was 10 or 11 years old when your brother gave it to you, when you ran into Justice Hakim.
Kim then, yeah. Well, what happened is I didn't stay
afterwards.
Yeah, I didn't stay because I liked the mosque, but he just wasn't.
Right. So he introduced you to the mosque, really.
Yeah, the mosque, the Nation of Islam.
Okay, the Nation
right,
of Islam.
but then the guards were out there, and what did it for me was a lot of the people in my neighborhood who, John and Brian and this one and that one, who they later on become savior. This one becomes master, and back then when we was coming up, like once you got a righteous name, you let nobody call you by your honorable name.
Right.
Back then we was calling them slave and government names.
Right.
It wasn't until our older brothers corrected us like, yo, God, we don't, we have honorable names, whatever. But, so, there was a brother named Jabbar that, who I went to, when I finally wanted it, you know what I mean? And, he was like, it was just something about him that I just said, well, all right, man, let me just shop somewhere else to get this, that's in Justice Hakim. And then he set me on, my course, he was telling me what I needed to do, and what happened was I seen a rapid improvement.
In him?
No, in those that were my age, right, who got the knowledge. Because, like, okay, again, we're talking, we're 10 and 11, man, so we're playing. We're going monkey bars and running around the park and, but when the guards is teaching in the park, like, get me walking around with dirty sneakers and whatever, I need some of these brothers I didn't even recognize. They had little Kangos on their head and, glasses, and I'm like, see, he look familiar. I said, ain't you Brucey? My name is Justice now, and whatever. I'm like, what? And then their whole demeanor changed. You know what I mean? So and what you said is my man, Allah Savior. Understand and see, brother. We went to school together. In fact, he was responsible for giving my man Universal Savior. Us become the class. Yeah, I didn't even know it. Us told me, yeah, God, he was the brother who gave it to me because I was looking for him. You know what I mean? Because me and Savior, we came up together.
Right.
And what did one day, I'm coming through Liberty Park, and I said, hey, I called him by his graffiti name. He said, yo, so I said, well, you can't speak. And he turned around and said, man, God always speaks. I said, man, I want that, man. Let me yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Right. And that's what sparked, I said, the meeting was in the parks anyway. So I saw Justice Hakim and them, and that's when I just gravitated toward that, man, and said, man, let me do that.
Right,
and
right.
Then,
yeah. But did you recognize the difference immediately between the difference of the nation? Because you said you're 10 years old, right? Or 10, 11 years old.
Well, here's the difference. So, and you hear this a lot. So when knowledge came to us, right, even back in the 60s, my older brothers like God Supreme and Prince and them, when Allah taught them, he taught them in the street. Right. The first school was the street. Right. Like I always say, the rooftops, the barber shops, the dope dens, the corner, the gambling spots. Although he was there, he took them out of that. So we still had what was characteristic of the street in us. You know what I mean? So so the Nation of Islam, man, peace to them, and they were disciplined.
Right.
We not smoking, we like suited up, we're not, we straight and narrow.
Straight and narrow.
Yeah, straight and narrow. You know what I mean? And as a child, I mean,
But did the discipline of that, being a child, kind of make you say like, nah, I'm gonna go this direction more, because it was like this is more attractive, more like the streets was more attractive, or you say
okay. Well, it was the guards were flexible.
The guards were flexible.
Yeah, the guards were flexible. Like all right, they definitely refined because I seen that was an attraction.
Right.
You seen how. And I understand the God's bills when they start talking about, refinement as it relates to wisdom, culture, and equality. You know what I mean? The self and how you speak, and So and I seen the rapid improvement. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, I said, yeah, let me get, but the colloquial expressions and the lingo and everything was still connected. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, let me do that. I wasn't, you wasn't, rigid.
Right.
Although that discipline is good too. When I later on, when I got older and I was doing the knowledge to all human families, you know what I mean? I'm checking them out. I'm seeing, I see the need for that. Just that, we're taught, man, we the true and living God, and that's with that unequivocally.
Right.
And that's what Almighty God taught, you know what I mean? No religion. No disrespect, man. That's why we go into these degrees. We hoping to see the day that God take the devil into hell in the very near future. The word pray and fast is in that. You know what I mean? But I know what's being implied. I'm not losing my wig, you know what I mean? And then when they say Muslim, I'm not Muslim, but I understand who they're referring to. They're talking about the Habibi from Yemen.
Right.
They're talking about the black man who was lost but then found here in the wilderness in North America. So,
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, no, I got, in asking that, God, because, think about my own history, as a young child, about like 9, 10, 11, we learning about like Black history, about like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and all that, and being in a Christian household, Martin Luther King was upheld a certain way.
Yeah.
Especially in the schools and on a mainstream level, his name was upheld a certain way, and Malcolm X was kind of put to the side for things. But But then learn about Malcolm, you know, then you start learning about his history and how he came into the Nation of Islam, and you know, and then also hearing the guards on the street, I kind of equated the two, but you know, at the time I wasn't able to distinguish the difference. I mean, but you was able to distinguish because you had your physical.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know, I honestly, this is how it went. My physical, wow. He I don't even know. His name was Divine Prince. So he had got this.
He had got the knowledge.
Right. He had got the knowledge, and see, that's how it just started spreading. But he didn't. That didn't stick. And then he just, you know.
Okay, wow.
Right. Got to see the name. I said, yo, who's Divine Prince? That's you? That's your name? He said, yeah, that's my righteous name. My righteous name is Divine Prince. But he didn't, and then all of a sudden, man, he just went to the mosque and, and went to the temples then. It's called the temples then.
Right.
Yeah, 7C actually. That's where he went to, and so I followed behind him, man, because he taught me how to put the 1 and 2s together.
How many years of differences?
No, so Ka got me by 4. About 4 years, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
Wound up at maybe 1 or 2. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. And, he stayed, he was devout. He stayed with that. But it just,
Yeah, no, and it's interesting, because you said now he's like more traditional.
Yeah, well, now he's he's not like actively
right, but he wouldn't identify as with the Nation of Islam per se.
No, but what I would say, no, he wouldn't. But what I would say is he was definitely. He was a kitchen knife. He was sharp.
Right.
Right. So and history. So he understood his origin. Because unfortunately, what happens is this. Right. Like some people may have the knowledge of Islam. As it was introduced to us here in North America.
Right. The science of Islam.
The science.
The culture of Islam.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah,
versus
right.
The religion of Islam.
Religion of Islam. Right, God. So what happens is, so you get conscious from that, but he was like kind of well rounded. You know what I mean? So after he left, he was holistically understood who he was in relationship to things around him. So even though he still went, he. Did Orthodox Islam. That was his thing, and when I was away, of course, the Buddhism even became stronger because of the environment that I'm in.
Right. Provided by your physical, right? The environment.
And with prison. Yeah, prison. Well, see, but by then I'm already older, so I'm already immersed in the culture.
Understood.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But he was the foundation that got me there, you know what I mean? Kind of opposite, because you hear a lot of Muslims say, yeah, man, I used to be a 5%er, I started out there, then I became Muslim, you know what I mean, whatever, da. It was just the opposite. It was like, I went to the mosque and went to, I seen, but, it just didn't, and then I just went on and,
Right. But I was just thinking about the demographics of original people here in this part of the world, and how you see if they're not Christian, right? They would be they would either like in the Muslim world, or they some of them might be like you said, they might be say I used to be God, or it's just, but Islam has had like a impact on us here.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, great that you make that statement. So, when Master Farr comes here. Right, like they didn't come here, God, with 120.
Right.
He didn't come here. Or lost and found, because we call it 120.
Right.
He didn't come here with the lost and found. Supreme, right. This is something they developed to accommodate the awakening of black people, which is the truth that you find that can be rooted. It wasn't nothing that was spooky and some schism. I'm just going to although people you'll read some histories that say to the contrary to what I'm saying. Yeah, it is that. but it wasn't. But what mechanisms, what troops can I develop to help them come up out of that? You know what I mean? And this is what was developed. Now, ironically, you know, they called that was Islam. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, and you know, like Elijah mentioned to the black man, he goes in. You know what I mean? And we're not dealing with the mystery God, and you know, I mean, in fact, in his book, in the mystery God chapter, he says, what type of self gratification or satisfaction does a mystery God get out of making the material universe and the material being who's supposed to be the likeness of his image? You know what I mean? So he goes into crushing, you know, the
idea of a
mystery God, right? You know what I mean? You know, but we understand when the law leaves, because again, we're talking about the principles, because, you know, mathematics is law and order, but we teach education. And the law understood, okay, man, well, you know, who was the original man, right? So he understood that, okay, this applies to me and to everybody around me. And when it was told, like, okay, no, we're not, yeah, the original man, okay, but, well, peace to infinite, peace to me, peace to him. Not that we're taking anything away from the principal players like Elijah or Master Father Muhammad, but you empowering me with this here. So why can't I take off with it? You know what I mean? So then, you know, he takes the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and makes it born, like unequivocally. I mean, my favorite line is that one. So...
And he emphasizes the black man being God.
You're right. And then that Islam is a culture. Right, and that what's it? Right, not a religion. That Islam is a culture, you know, and the culture is a way of life, and this way of life is infinite, and time's immemorable. You know, how you see today mathematics might have been different 25 to 50,000 years ago in Kemet. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But knowing thyself and understanding these principles was the rule of thumb. You know what I mean? So you know, yeah.
No, just thinking about the different iterations, like I said, looking at the population of the original people, you know, like, see, Islam came. I come from a Christian background, and Islam came to my family numerous different ways. Like my sisters, you know, my cousins was dating, you know, certain people, and they came in, but it was different ways. So I asked my brother-in-law, like how, you know, because he's a Muslim, like he's but a traditional Muslim. So how did Islam come in? You know, and he told me about his great-grandfather who was a part of the Noble Jew Ali movement. Then when Noble Jew Ali went back to the essence, his family went into the Nation of Islam. Then, dealing with that, then with Malcolm, then Malcolm split. They went with Malcolm. And then when Malcolm got returned, they kind of was out of sorts, but then they, went kind of followed Wharf Deen into the whole traditional. So that's how, Islam really came into the lives of original people here. And I'm just saying, how it affected me, because I'm hearing the guards in the streets. But I'm saying, but I'm also noticing, a difference. He's kind of this way. The guards is a little bit more, this way. Now, I'm attracted to this way. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get it this way. You know what I'm saying? But as an older man, just seeing, wow, how Islam, whether it be the religion of Islam or the culture of Islam, the science of Islam, you see how it's many different ways.
Yeah, dimensions.
Yeah, the dimensions of it.
Right. So when it comes to us, we can't negate history, right? When it comes to, first of all, we wouldn't be having this conversation had we not went through the triangle slave trade, right? And being that the knowledge was taken from us, right? Knowledge had to be brought. It was observed. Oh wait, hold on, man. All of them are people, and these people were taken from here. You know what I mean? But then they were historically nothing spooky about what I'm saying. The Monroe Doctrine, which was a doctrine created by him that with the laws of immigration, that didn't want any other foreign country to interfere with the affairs of America. Right. So this also included, of course, obviously, you coming and talking about, yeah, well, my name is Infinite, and I'm coming to say, no, you not. We about to kill you and send you back on this boat or something. You know what I mean? So
real quick, I just want to say,
yeah.
shout out to Allah Light. The Law Light, dropped that with the Monroe Doctrine.
Yeah,
right?
yes.
It was one of the mayors who became a president, mayor of Virginia, who was a president. I forget his name though, but add on, God.
Yeah, no question. I mean, yeah, all that is relative, right? Mm-hmm. So so then and so it Fall had to come like a thief in the night. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because the way he looked, because see, then later on. Listen to this one, God. Later on, Shamgar makes the connection. Because in the universal flag, he's talking about the uniting of the seeds, the black, the brown, the yellow. So if we don't have knowledge who the black man looks like, we understand the black seed. Right. The brown seed, the yellow seed. You don't understand, because if you look at the yellow seed, you think, they white. You know what I mean? Without understanding the signs of what black really means, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. I forgot the melanin and the photogenic and all that, with the pigment and all, like we don't understand the science of what your people look like. Of course, okay, but now he's like, let him in. Wasn't he say his name? He said his name was Fard. No, don't worry about it. Yeah, he just, boom. Right. And then off. But then now, interesting, like Noble Jew Ali, you don't take Christianity, which is already here, it's prevalent, it's predominant, right? You take Islam, right? But then you fashion it, right? Because, Islam was traditional 7th century, like, 5, 6, right. But what happens, Firstborn Prince told me, we wrestled with this statement, because again, like, we teach, man, that, we don't teach religion, but Prince was like, he said, his statement he made, I understood it, of the religions, what would come or give the appearance of what would be natural would be Islam, of the religion. And I kind of get, even though, God, if you want to go into that, Islam has inflicted some atrocities also. Right. So we want historically, we can't negate that either. Because when they was taking us over here from Central and Western Africa, right? So with the Arabs in North Africa coming over there, but
and interesting, Elijah builds on that in some of his writings about how the religion of Islam inflicted, so I just was curious why he kind of like use that as a vehicle to bring, Fard as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, bringing that as a vehicle to us as original people.
Yeah, but what happens? When you study them, religion actually, when we read our history, you find like Buddha and all them. It becomes a religion after these great men go back into the essence, and you change the teaching, so you change the language and how it is written. So for centuries now, we're like, okay, this is what's normal. So for you to tell me, like, oh yeah, well, Buddhism and Christianity is X, Y, Z, and that's not right. These dudes sound crazy, man. You know what I mean? Unless I'm objective and I'm just looking at it from that perspective. So, and then, there was no hand to come get us but that in the shores of North America, right? And then when the law comes now, bear in mind, because when I got it, and I kind of seen the validity to this particular point I'm about to make. When I got it, it was only because my brother's much older than me, but all the adults were there. So the children would only get it via the adults. If the adults, there was nobody in the street.
Right.
You know what I mean? There were the churches, the Masonic lodges and this and that, but there was nothing for the babies. You know what I mean? So now when the law come out, man, and he taught everybody. Whoever wanted it was around him, he'd give it to him, according to my older brothers that, was building with me. You know what I mean? But his focus, as you can see, Black Messiah, Prince, God Supreme, and ABG, and all these other brothers, Al Jamel, and all them, and all them other brothers and sisters that were there. So he gives it to them. And then he takes because he was in the mosque, because he sees the usefulness of this, but he understands that, well, I'm creating. The young God said in my is in one of your videos. It's I think the Knowledge God title, and the young God King. I'm building with him, and I'm telling him. He asked me. He said, King asks me. He said, so God created us in His image.
We're gods because Allah created us in His image, right?
Okay. Okay. Listen to this one. That's taken. Let me help you out historically. That's taken from the Bible. Right. And then I go into I was going to say no, but he's right, because Almighty God did. Allah did. He created. Listen, man. Boom. And I fashioned and molded you and empowered you.
We're a reflection of His mind.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we come from His mind. There you go, God. Yeah. And that's why, a lot of time I swore to fight my older brother. You didn't walk with him. I walk with Allah each and every day. Come on, man. You ain't no separation here. Right. You had the honor and privilege of physically walking him, but we come straight from His mind, man. I don't. As long as you teaching this and you not teaching anything contrary, then we good. So yeah, that was that build. And it was the point I wanted to make in connection to that. But yeah, so he creates, right, the nation, the 5%. You know what I mean? God. I mean, I'm gonna go into the bill. God. We was going into when a statement is made, I'm a lost 5%. Because I was telling the brother, he kind of just slightly, not more argumentative, but I guess he had, about me being the all wise and then the other wise in the 16th degree.
Okay, what is this? This is who's argumentative with you?
No, it was another brother. I'm going to go there. Yeah, they weren't argumentative. Right. It was just,
because I just sound like if it was somebody who was of a nation of Islam or something.
No. Actually, it was the God.
Okay.
And I understood his build. But when I say all wise, right? What I mean by, because I'm not a Muslim, nor am I a Mason, right. And the Mason is one. But both of them, though, under this particular band of Islam, are teaching about the Son of Man. Right. So 5% in that respect. But that also lets you know you ain't the only one saying that. So when I say the law's 5%, I'm coming from the premise. I'm coming from not only his mind, but from the principles of 120 degrees of living mathematics, as it applies to all arts. So I say all wise. I mean, again, not to slight nobody or nothing. That's not what we're trying to do here. But
because I kind of use that though. You said, yeah, I'm the all wise. I'm the all wise, not the other wise.
Right, the other wise. Yeah, you them. Oh, you have to be them. Otherwise, this.
Yeah, right.
Right. No, I'm all wise, man. Right. I'm gonna be this everywhere I go. Mm-hmm. Right. So.
No, I appreciate that, Bill, when you manifested that. Because there is a distinction. Like as I was getting it, as a young boy, is born in sight, we don't know why. Right? You don't really know what the difference between, at that time, there was a nation of Islam. Then you had the Sunni Muslims. You had the Ansar Muslims. You know what I'm saying? You had all these different branches of it, and it was just kind of, in my young mind, it was all branches. So and to think that now, young people probably look at us and those are the same people until you get up closer.
So your history, God, just a little bit. See, when you come up, because you mentioned people that's part of your history.
Right.
Yeah, that was historically a part of that history.
Right.
So their root is in the Nation of Islam also.
Right.
Like Dr. York and all them dudes.
Right.
So they take it and they do some other. This dude did what the firstborn Muslims did with Allah.
Right.
Right. So he did. So because he was taught Dr. York and all of them were under the influence of the Nation of Islam. If not that, the 5%, whatever. You know what I mean? But largely the Nation of Islam, right? And so what happens? Okay, so he leaves. Okay, you boom. and he had a mean mosque too in Brooklyn. And he was doing their thing, the Ansars, yeah. But Imam Isa and them, but then he was doing some real flip mode.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah, with that, man.
With it?
Yeah, got psychedelic. Yeah, God, he did, man. Guards had to go to the mosque one time and straighten some issues out with this dude. You know what I mean? Because he was like, one of the major things he did, I remember, because he started writing this book about the Book of the Lamb and then the Book of the 5% with the picture of Allah's face on it. I remember he was coming through the Parliament and the brother had the book. Like young brother, he didn't no better. So they'd be in search at the door, I don't know if Allah Freedom and them was there then, because it was Gamal and Allah Freedom and then, I know Sincere was on the side. So Sincere, let me see that book. Only thing I seen was this book flying through the air, right? So I said, man, Sincere, you cockroach, So I'm like, yo, Sincere, what's the signs, God? What's the matter? So then he started talking about this book was written by this guy and it's poison or whatever. And then we had to again tell him to make a redaction and or get rid of these books. We're not doing that, man, because you got a 5%. So
right,
you have
like the 80s, right?
Yeah, like late 80s, early 90s, right? 90s,
okay.
Yeah, somewhere around there, and so again, not to stray from the point. So there were many moving parts.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like then you had the Moral Science Temple. They was coming into the they're coming into our cipher. Yeah, they coming to our cipher, grabbing brothers, getting their names changed.
Yeah, see now that's another history to get into, like the whole history of the bays and the L's and right. Like that was added on to God names.
Yeah, and like I said, and it was just a build I go into. Like I said, okay, God, listen. Most people, some people got their names changed because legally you want your name changed. I want my name to be, my name is Kenneth Allah Shah Jones. Because I had got the name changed because it was a mishap in my birth certificate. So I go to court. This was relatively recently too, like some years back. And the judge said, okay, so no, when it was okay for me to change the name. The Bureau of Vital Records said, okay, what would you like your middle name to be? And I said, we throw the righteous name in that.
Okay,
so I said, now it was on my Social Security, whatever. So when I tell them I'm Allah Shah, I know Kenneth Jones. That's my honorable name. I'm not,
right.
Oh, Mr. Jones, how you doing? Oh, don't call me that. I know who I am. You know what I mean? So rewind a little bit. So when they came, but the problem with them too was, you wasn't just now cause coming getting bubbles. Then you wanted to insinuate, your ideas and whatever.
What's your nationality?
Yeah, and all that, man. Come on, man. I'm the natural landlord.
Right.
Yeah, no disrespect. I hate brothers with statehood, and I get all that, but I'm the natural landlord, man. I don't have to go through that, man. Almighty God said this. This is why He said, man, listen, man, we're not overthrowing the government. We're not doing none of that, man. In fact, you go take your knowledge and wisdom and make the world and things around you better, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, no question. We go get who you are. It's a science called dialectical definition. When I define what a thing is, I also define its opposite. So if I tell you straight hair is good, what am I telling you about nappy hair? Right. So you know what I mean? So if I'm telling you the black man is God, automatically know who the devil is, right? So that bill, So, but I'm not going around the world like hating these people and whatever, But to go back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago, just like when this, Allah is teaching this dude in Madawan, and he leaves, and then he starts Robert Walker, he leaves, starts his own thing, But everybody had their root. In this particular science. Allah tell him, man, as taught to me that, listen, don't go out there making no devil, make a devil already here.
Right.
Don't take this knowledge. I can't take what's in your brain. You know what I mean? But don't take this knowledge and then, and you did exactly that. You, Imam Isa, and the rest of them dudes. You know what I mean?
Well, this is the battle I was just having with the God original self on the phone in terms of like, you know, the science of culture, right? You know, and you know, us as the 5 percenters, you know, we're taught to preserve our culture and the cultural tenets, right? And you see a lot of brothers, you know, holding strong to, you know, this is how Allah taught, and this is how you know, how it was in year one, and then so forth and so on. You know, but I, you know, in my observation of culture, I don't see not one culture around the world, you know what I'm saying, anywhere in the world that has remained the same from its inception all the way to 100 years from now, because culture is like a living, breathing thing, a living entity, that, and it grows and it develops, and you know, however, we do hold fast to certain things that are at its root. The root doesn't change, but as it grows, you know, like the tree, it spreads out, and the fruits develop. So, you know, I just wanted to get your see, you know.
Oh, great bill, God, great, and that's 3/4 of rebutting some nonsense. Listen, Marcus Garvey said that a people without knowledge of themselves is like a tree without roots, right? So you know, the tree analogy, right? But and our build is right, and I get it, absolutely. You don't, as long as you don't change the idea, right? But God, come on, man, listen. This is what killed me, and I'm glad you went there. I you know, when my older brother see this, and whoever see it, Prince taught me, and Black Messiah said this. Let me drop this on you, man. We're in the 21st century, right? And we still a lost 5%, right? You know, but the wisdom is the way. So meaning that, okay, no question, I'm not going to change the idea. But how you apply the knowledge and wisdom, you know, it's going to be different. In fact, if I asked you right now, in fact, watch this, God, give me a brief, just give me a real simple today's mathematics.
Knowledge born.
What's that mean, just briefly?
To know and to make it born.
Okay. Yeah. Ask me that.
Today's mathematics.
It's the universal manifestation of supreme intellect, which is shown and proves in the only potent forces of knowledge born.
Okay, peace.
The ability, you know, so like, what? This ain't the same thing you just said.
Right.
I just, you know, stretched it.
Stretch it out.
Right. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, not trying to sound fly, but I'm saying how different. Knowledge means to know, born means to be complete. You'll hear that constantly because that's what it is, actually. It's root, it's foundation. But when you hear it, brothers' comprehension of, and brothers, something you said, the way I say a thing 25 years ago may be different to how I'm saying it now. Right. You know what I mean? That was deep. You know what I mean? Not to, again, I'm not changing, because when you change the idea, then you've changed its dynamic.
Right.
But we're not doing that. But yeah, no question about that, God. We're not,
we have that understanding grows.
Right.
Understanding elevates. Right. So you're not going to say the same thing at you know, 5 years old as you're going to say at 25.
Right, God. Right. And a large part due to there's some things I had to unlearn. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, because as I came through, you know, I'm bumping into a lot of the older guards and we arguing, and I remember my namesake. Interesting. My namesake is named Allah Shah, the brother whose name I take.
Right.
And Allah gave him that name.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, and I first hear his name in a book called Black Muslims in America by C. Eric Lincoln. And I see my name was Shaheem. Right, for a minute. Shaheem, yeah. So I said, like, well, I like Allah Shah, I like that, man, you know, and then just so happened I happened to bump into him. I said, oh, wait, what's your name? Allah Shah. I said, yo, man, yeah, I want to, you know, I'm change my name and, you know, whatever. I want to, you know, so he told me, okay, if you go do that, man, my name is God Allah Shah. He said, now this is how I spell my name, and then.
His name is God Allah Shah.
God Allah Shah, that's right,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
So, S-H-A-H. Right. So I don't do S-H-A.
Okay.
You want this name, and when I do, then you know, I said, okay, no, right, bet, boom. He had a mean definition. I forgot how he described himself.
And he didn't take issue with you, want to use the name.
No, he didn't. But I bring him up because one of the greatest arguments was with Jacob God the devil.
Yeah, we had that bill.
So when I see him and we're incarcerated, I catch him. I said, "Yo, God, listen, man. This how simple this was, man." He said, "I said, yo, God, yeah, God, when Jacob God the devil." He said, "God, he's what 120 degrees less than says he is." I said, "What do you mean?" Oh, he's the father. He's the father. He said, "No, God." He said, what's the 21st degree in the 1 to 40? I said, "Who's the father like a track and like propels?" I said, "Who's the black man who's the scientist?" He said, "Stop. That's who he is."
Right. We went through that.
Yeah. So the God gave that. So I was like, okay. He said, "God, come on, yeah, we don't understand what father means. He's the father of the devil, but you losing your wig over that. He was just the instrument and the scientist to create, of this particular, So I was like, okay, bet, why Allah see you born, you know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
yeah. So yeah. So so understanding, like I don't get caught up in those arguments. I mean, I when I hear it, yo, God, y'all cool with this, and he was how you can't. Okay, if I'm in that build, I'll give you how I'm perceiving it, how I'm drawing it up. You know what I mean? I'll give you my facts because it's gonna be actual fact or no fact at all.
Right.
Because another thing I learned that I had to stop doing too was stop reading 120 like a Christian. Like being a dead letter where you just reading on the surface and you're not giving me the understanding.
Right.
You know what I mean? You quoted it well. Okay, that's right. But can you show and prove? The God today, he gave a good, this is my man, Born Almighty. He goes into, I complimented the God too, a build on Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg's. I mean, I got to keep doing that. Because we don't own that. So, on his platform. But the God went into about knowledge born and, went out of religion, so we stopped teaching that. I'm wholeheartedly just the little thing with Musa. When I see the God build with him, how can he be a great civilized? You can't teach devilment and teach civilization. And okay, God, I kind of beg to differ, but build with you when I see you, kind of give you what's being implied.
Okay.
So you don't get caught up in content. I get what you. I could see where you're going with that, but and I'm not getting this is not to be but to God. Great build, you know what I mean? And that mental gymnastics. I'm drawing it up. I'm going in. So I'm not reading it from its surface. I'm giving you. So now when you come to me with that, I'm not just going to quote the degree and then I'm just speaking emotionally. No, what's the degree say? And then because your theatrics should, warrant me to concede to you. When I ask you to give me proof, you can't. You know what I mean? And then, instead of just saying, you know what? I don't know how many times I done went back to the lab, guards and told me, now Cypher. Now that's wrong. Okay, we go back in there. And that's how we learn. Then we come back. We're infinite that. Yeah, then we go through our build, but increasing your knowledge and awareness is important, God. Which is the point you were making.
And also that's also like I said, the context of culture, right? You increasing your knowledge. So a lot of times, God, what I see, God, is like the worship of personalities. You see the personality, because the personality is so magnetic. Now you begin to emulate, because that magnetic piece with the magnetic. Now he's magnetized, and the God just dropped something on me today. He said, there's a difference between having magnetic and being manipulative. Right? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you have these magnetic personalities, and then they might have some manipulation to their bill, and you get caught up in that because they do have magnetic, but then they add a little bit of manipulation to it, right? And and you start seeing like the different context of culture, right? Like within our culture, we have our non-born, right? But you can say all of them are taught differently,
right?
And then when they start teaching theirs, they get it a certain way, and then they say, well, this is how I got it, right? And then that becomes a thing, and then within the students of the students, or when we come to encounter each other, there's a lot of times we get
caught up in that because you're built for two different premises.
Right.
But now, all right. So again, I had the guard come, and Unique again. He I told you this, Bill. The guard, he's from Jersey. Mm. I said, God, where you from? He caught me off guard for a little bit. He said, I'm from New Jeebus. I said, what? What's that? So then, it wasn't until he said, I like the guard person. I come from that, so I wasn't moved by or felt insulted. What you mean? You don't know what New Jeebus is? You know your lessons, my man? I said, okay, well, you doing that? I said, okay, bet. So today, Jeebus Sleeman Ariel. I said, oh, okay, the power degree. Okay, Jersey. Right. I said, God, my bad, got you. Okay, right? So then, God, where you get that bill from? So he said, Saheem. Saheem hit him with that. I guess when they came from Jersey and they bump into Saheem, Saheem is calling them that. It's calling that, and then he goes into the bill of the power degree, and then where they going with that. So, okay, bet I got you, he's firm in that. I got you. I just knew it as... Actually, now
not everybody of the culture came in contact with Saheem to get that jewel or in that fashion. Right.
Now, and going back to your point, all of them, God, absolutely, man. They are the way I'm gonna make this knowledge born. It's going to be different, diametrically different, man. My view and whatever, and so my thing is when. That's why what's real critical, God, is utilizing mathematics. Let me objectively hear what you're saying to me. Okay, what are you saying? You know what I mean? Before we get, before I was emotional, because if you came and you said something that didn't sound like me, then we sword fighted. Right, we went at it, you know what I mean? Sword fighted meaning, through our wisdom, our words, sword fighting, yeah.
The science of language and
language, God, you got it, because the world here is just
because you get into that the Harlem, not necessarily Mecca, the Harlem of language. Whoa, pause, and they get into that like that mindset. You got language is interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is, God, and with this here too.
Right.
Prince and ABG and Black Messiah and Al Jamal and all the rest of them had a way they taught. Or God, this is my view. This is how I drew some science up. And I'm giving it in this respect. In fact, little did I know, I'm bumping into that Black Messiah is my tree. I bump into him real way. I gave you this bill, me and Comstock. And he showed me real basic. He said, everybody running around here running their mouth about the father, this and that. He said, ask this dude who his father is, man. And so, and when he comes into the cipher while I'm speaking. So my back is to him, and then some dude just disrespectfully called him Kareem. Hey, peace, Kareem. And anyway. So I turned around, the first time I met him, you know what I mean? I told you before I will come mental, come physical. So I'm not trying to, put my hand. Oh, peace, God, you could tell his presence was like, and everybody was like, who knew him, like, I said, okay, so Black Messiah said, peace. He said, yo, God, he's asking who his father was. And then we come to find out, in this cipher, you had 3 or 4 brothers, man, who were first-born Muslim. But they mimicked and looked like you and dressed like you. And, right. But when you went into the sounding nice, because I love words, so the wordplay was like and to you, but see examination. See, I wasn't examining. So when you start examining, I said, well, you know what? Let me just be quiet and do the knowledge, man. And objectively listen. From that, there was no college. There was no other learning. I could learn more than that particular moment. When that's okay. But let me, if I open my mouth, and let me just do the knowledge to who was around me. But there was different styles. ABG one of my greatest builds with him was he'll walk you through the knowledge. Let me go. You got look around you. Look, see. He show you how mathematics applies. Look at this. Look at the bus. Look at the cars. Look at the people. You know, why the devil call our people African, and then he'll start showing you, and you know, whatever. You know,
Right.
You know, I mean, so what happens is now when I bump in now, I go to the desert, or I go to Pilon or the Medina, and I'm bumping into Sincere or Ralik or whoever. You know what I mean? They're coming from this premise.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, yeah. Well, I don't. Oh, right, like you said, God, I'm building with those that were influenced by their knowledge and wisdom.
Right.
Yeah, I don't teach that. We don't teach that over here. Teach what?
Right.
Right. So you know, before I just without even look, I throw water on fire. So what are we saying that what are we saying that is, you know, not detrimental. That's opposite.
Right.
You know, that's congruent with the science of living mathematics.
I had to there was one time I had to be corrected, right? I was saying wisdom is limited, right? And you know, God, divine education said no, wisdom is not infinite. Wisdom is not limited. It's infinite as well. He said knowledge is infinite. And I had to sit with that a little bit because I'm just thinking more so like wisdom is like, you know, even connected to wisdom is like the woman. So the woman is limited and kind of so it says okay, but now but how you apply something, how there's different ways of how wisdom is the way. There's different ways.
Right.
Knowledge is infinite. Wisdom is infinite as well. So there's different expressions of how this knowledge is manifested, and we just have to, recognize the differences in, the manifestations. Because a lot of times we clash with the differences. Like we come among, Allah didn't teach it that way. Like just these different clashes of context.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? I just just wanted to add on with that in terms of like being careful because wisdom is the way.
Yeah. So yeah, and good that you bring that up, God. Because all right, so there are moments, unfortunately, a lot of where you have people. My man used to get up there in the parliament, and he would just run his mouth, man, like knowledge bones equality, equality bones wisdom, wisdom bones understanding, understanding bones. And you're not making no sense. You're not making no sense, God, at all.
At least not to nobody else.
Yeah, right. You're not making no sense even to us, God.
No. What I mean, nobody, like maybe to himself, like.
Yeah, right. But I don't know what's going on upstairs there. Yeah.
What's going on with you?
Yeah. So so. Having said that, being improperly taught also, unfortunately, you know what I mean. So one of the premises, because a lot of us, man, we didn't walk physically with our Allah. You know what I mean. So your Allah didn't teach you that way. You know what I mean. I remember one time I'm in the class. I never forget this. Colleen dropped this on me, and I'm teaching the class, and I said, my first time me teaching the class at the school. I said, God, like, how you think, Dan, but Allah would have said it this way, or he would have, he said, God, how would you have said it? He said, then I told him, yeah, he said, I said, well, I would have said it like this, I would have said it like that. He said, God's right and exact. Right? He said, as long as it's right and exact, then there's no disagreement. You know what I mean? As long as what you're saying is right and exact, you know what I mean? Pretty much, and you can prove what you're saying, Now, yeah, we you get the personalities, I mean, I wasn't taught like that, okay, but again, God, you have to stand, as the nuance and new saying goes, on 10 toes on the truth in which you speak.
Right.
Okay, all right. You wasn't taught like that. Okay, so. What do you mean? Then you have to go through the bill. You know what I mean? But you have to be open to like, okay, bet. Well, I'm wrong. Okay, bet. Then, but for the most part, I mean, like Dumont had a very, the design of wisdom. You know, yeah.
It's just being in the street. I see a lot of that.
Yeah.
About design of wisdom, somebody who designed, but you putting this piece with this piece, and
you mixed out with the tampering,
right?
And you're making it psychedelic.
It becomes psychedelic.
Okay, all right. Case in point. I know the understanding degree. Here we go. Teaches me about, in the 1 to 10, that is. Excuse me. A lot of understanding degrees. In the 1 to 10 tells you about the 17 million plus the 2 million Indians, make a total of 19 million. All over the planet is 4 billion, 400 million. A 1934 almanac consensus of, people here in the wilderness of North America. So, and I get, going back to our earlier build about how the knowledge was, how the knowledge comes to us and whatever. But what's great about the 5% is, and I'm going to tie it in because I'm not, what's great about the 5% is that we're the natural landlords. You know what I mean? And the reason why we have the argument about Africa is not that Africa's a bad name, it's that wasn't the only place I lived. And also the argument that we're not savage, you were. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? But that that's a misnomer to largely, because we all over the globe, according to Ivan Van Sertima. You know what I mean?
Right.
So having said that, we fast forward. So now I didn't even know who these people were. These FBA.
Oh yeah.
Foundational, peace. And I like I just told you before, I said I'm hopefully we'll have the honor to sit down with them, because again, man, we're not here to. There's different vessels, right? This is our vessel, and our vessel has been a proven one in times immemorable, because we're not teaching nothing that just happened in 1964. The black man always been God. It's just that Almighty God came in 64 to make knowledge born to us. The very same signs that always been here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, but my point is that, I'm talking about mixed dialogue and tampering, you'll get brothers, right? And you'll take ideas. You know what I mean? You got some guards walking around with Masonic rings on. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, what are we doing? What you got the swords over your head? How we do that? Please don't get me with the mystery systems. They ain't got nothing to do with masonry.
And see, look, I've come across a few guys like that, and they, have different reasons for why they did that. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I wouldn't choose, but like I said, I've come in contact and traveling and camping with different brothers who.
Yeah, no question. I mean, but I'm unwavering. When I see you, please, God, dang God, why you got some brothers, man, they like going back to that God's bill today. We don't teach religion, and we're not, there's nothing wrong with, I'm not gonna be strong in my house and weak in yours, so I may very well know a whole lot of signs about other things, because that's the way we engage in dialogue and build. But I'm not wearing the clothes of that house. You know what I mean? I'm not. You got guards that's more. That sounds oxymoron. You got God. You either more or you not. You know what I mean? Brother came to the school. We had a nice bill. He come with the black fez on or whatever. Like boom. I'm not. Yeah, God, then he started talking this and that, and we need to listen, my man. What's wrong with you being the Asiatic black man?
Right. The God asked me, he said, what's more than 85, 10, and 5%? That's 100%. Like, what's more than that?
Right.
He was playing on the more. Like, where you going with that?
Right.
Either you're the 85%. You the 10% or you the 5%.
Right.
Which one are you? You know what I'm saying? So and I thought that was
interesting.
Perspective.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, what category you falling yourself in?
Right. Now, those arguments about like, nationhood, what's your nationality, reparations, all those things have the, validity in a certain context, right? So I don't have a beef with that. It's just like when you try to make it to be like, it's this or that. Like, we're not black. We're actually, when it gets into when you get into that, it's like now you going somewhere else with it. We're losing it. We're again clashing with context. You know what I'm saying? Like your context is not the same context as my context. So now we're clashing. So that's So I said we gotta be careful with language, our language. Even going into the bill about 12 Jews, right? So there's a segment of us that use 12 Jews, and there's another segment that will call it poor knowledge. And why is it poor? I don't know why it would be poor, right? We say, okay, well, Allah didn't teach it, right? They didn't teach it that way, and that's understood, right? But then you also have a newborn curriculum, right? So I don't have beef with a newborn curriculum. I actually like the newborn curriculum. I didn't get it that way, but I actually like it, like, right? But why would you have a beef with 12 Jews?
Right.
See what I'm saying? So it's like in the context of it, like, so these are things like a lot of times we argue, and we don't really fully understand the context of what each other's saying. So just going in different directions.
Yeah. So all right, I remember when I got the mathematics and alphabets, got them on brain. The 12 Jews was being, in fact.
So the 12 Jews was around when you.
Yeah, no question. It was around.
So you got after the mathematics and alphabet.
Because other guys was quoting them, again, habit forming. You get that, we put that on brain. Now, this knowledge is wisdom. For decades, that wasn't an issue. There was no campaigning, that's trash. And in fact, its root is, all right, in the Nation of Islam, there was, in the four corners of the flag, is freedom, justice, and equality, right? And then, later on, the 12 Jews becomes developed, you know what I mean? And then it's used. I had no problem, and it still don't, in respects to, it's not nothing that I would readily teach now, God. Right, and I said,
you wouldn't readily teach 12 Jews?
No. I mean, like, I'm giving you that as a foundation.
Not.
Right. No. I mean, first of all, let me qualify and support what why I wouldn't argue against that. If you're quoting 120 degrees of lessons, right, then knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, freedom, justice, and equality, food, clothing, and shelter, love, peace, and happiness is immersed throughout this whole. It's this in your lesson.
Right.
It's in that. I mean, no.
Some would be like it's redundant to use them, but
absolutely, no, absolutely not. Allah didn't teach that, right?
Not in that fashion.
Yeah, right. God like that.
Right.
Not in that fashion. No, just like. Here's the part everybody leaves out, God. Listen to this one. I don't have refinement in mine either. But check what Allah dropped on me. So when the guards is developing, they getting strong and whatever, you know what I mean, and they be building and whatever, and I guess the guards was cursing, or there was something they were doing, and Allah said how they needed refinement. How you need, not saying that because you can't refine the truth.
Right.
Here go my thing. But I can refine the way the truth is applied, though.
Absolutely.
Right. Going back to your bill with wisdom. Wisdom is the way, right, or the ability to be able to discern when and say and do a thing and when not to. You know what I mean? It's the way. So you know when to use vulgarity and when not to. You know when to, whatever you need to do. But refinement, culture, equality, those are areas in which we find, and of course, so that deals with character. So Law's speaking to the character, like, yo, listen, man, look how you acting. You know, we're not moving like that. So you got power, you got truth, right? But you with your ability to deliver it is poor.
Well, that speaks to, when brothers say that refinement is more closer to culture.
Yeah.
Right? And I could see, the context in which they're saying that, with, in the use of power refinement, I will also say, well, do you have the power to clean yourself up? Right? Do you have the power? Because the power is an ability, right?
Yeah.
You say power is the truth, right? But if you're looking up the actual definition of power, it's not going to say the truth, right? We use the truth because it is powerful, right? However, power is defined as an ability. So do you have an ability to clean yourself up? So that's how I would see power refinement. You know what I mean? But I don't like to get into the arguments and whatnot, because like I said, like arguing and the clashing and clashing of context, right? Because you just say that culture is refinement is and culture is synonymous. I can see that, right? But that's in one definition, and we also got to realize that the English language is a bastardized language. So it's been, it's a lot of mixed, diluting, tampering with the English language. So in studying it, it's like, I don't want to get too caught up in that, But there are different ways, like the different ways of how to manifest something, how to share it. It's there's you can how can I say, you manifest with cultures is one's way of life. A cat, rat, dog has a way of life, right? So a cat, rat, and dog doesn't have refinement, right? It has a way of life, right? It has a culture, right? But then you say, okay, now when you add the supreme mathematics to it, that's when you elevate it, and then that's when in culture.
Yeah. Okay. So now I was waiting. So we speak supreme mathematics in alphabets, which means alphabetical mathematics that verifies the truth of life, and it's supreme. No, you're not going to find our definitions in Webster.
Right.
Because when you add, knowledge is the motivational whatever it means this, and
Well, however, when I got mathematics, I was told to
go there.
Go.
No, because you're exercising. Yes,
right,
you do.
Right.
No, but I mean,
it's not like we changing the meanings of these
no,
words.
Right. No, because knowledge, right, it's accumulation of facts. But I remember how I first learned what knowledge was. 1974, the Fort Greene rally. Prince was speaking, and most people knew what he was saying, but I was awestruck because of how he explained how knowledge is like the sun is to the universe, like the black man is to his family, and he equated knowledge to how it's the foundation, and like the sun is the foundation, so all the planets are subsisting and are obedient to his light, like the black man is to his family. Coming later on, I learned that's the law of correspondence, right? As above, so below. So, and that, sun, moon, and stars, man, woman, and child. You know what I mean? Wisdom. Wisdom is wise words. To that, this and that and whatever. But now when you go to their dictionary, like you say, God, we go there because I'm not speaking Arabic. I'm speaking English.
Right.
So we're asking you to speak maturely. So you have to refer to these lexicons and these dictionaries for the definition of things. But we look into them wisely, too. You know what I mean? Right. But look into them wisely. So this way we're not getting, because what happens too, when understanding means to see. So yes, so seeing from the third eye, which is the mind, so that's comprehension, right? But I remember a brother was telling me about perception, and he was kind of going somewhere else. I mean, nice choice of words you're using, right? But you're not in line or in sync with what this is really meaning. Right. You know, so that's, you know, kind of going there. You know what I mean? Staying, no question, God, going back to our build, the idea is the same. So even when I grow, I want to make sure that
it's rooted.
Right, God. There you go.
Yeah,
right. There you go, God. Thank you.
Right.
See the basics.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, you don't want to you don't want to turn knowledge into born, right?
Right.
Something that is not.
That is not.
Like kind of grafted and turned.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, but you do want to have there's a root, and that's why I said like I always found the use of like when I was given the mathematics to go to the dictionary, because like I said, we're not making up these words.
Right.
But you know, but then when like you said, what Prince, the use how Prince and many other gods I've known that said like, you know, knowledge is the foundation, and knowledge, you know, is the black man, you know, just as the son is the foundation of his family. I've heard that, you know, many times. And you actually told me that I think that Prince, I might have heard Prince say that, you know what I'm saying? But you saying that you heard it from Prince. I was heard it from him. But I would get plus degrees, you know.
Yeah, with that same science.
With the same science, you know what I'm saying? But then like get the context. Okay, so if he's the foundation and he's the knowledge, then they say, you know, then the woman is the wisdom, right? But then there's the brothers who.
So he had a problem with that.
Yeah. Right.
He said, "No, my woman is not wisdom.
Right.
My words are the wisdom, man. My woman ain't. You know how is she that? Right. You know what I mean? Because remember the class we had, you even dropped it, God. You said how knowledge and wisdom work interdependently. Remember you were telling me, God, I was trying to find the word. You said, God, you mean interdependently. Right. I said, right. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's how she works. You know what I mean? Again, you know,
because it works with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
The sun, moon, and stars, man, woman, and child. Right. And right. So, not losing the point. God, coming back because I'm going straight from my thought process. As long as it's rooted. It's rooted, God. You know what I mean? Like, you know, again, there's different ways. You know what I mean? Like, I certain things I had to unlearn. You know what I mean? Yo, because it's my wisdom. Okay, so you're saying that because knowledge is the black man. Mm-hmm. So quite naturally, knowledge is one. Two would be her. Right. But then what happens with that same bill too is because here's how the bill goes. Wisdom is the wise words spoken by the wise man. Wisdom is the black woman. She's secondary, most necessary.
Yeah. We had that bill about that. The secondary was most necessary. Well, I mean, you know, if you really, I mean, as you can size that up. Right, secondary, you know, as in terms of she comes after the knowledge, or you know, and then you say most necessary because you know you definitely need her, right?
Right.
Interdependent, and that doesn't like negate her or put her, you know, below us or you know, like you know, or behind us or less than us, right? See, that's what I'm saying. It just comes down to the context, and a lot of times we'll argue the context, you know. But I like these conversations because, like I said, you get to see the different perspectives of the context, right? So, yeah, because you know, one brother told me about like you know how Saeed gave it up was like you know like nah, my woman's not the wisdom, like I'm the wisdom because you know that I came from the mind of Allah and He's the knowledge. I'm the wisdom, right? I'm the one manifesting. I'm showing proof His mind, right? So
I'm coming after,
right? So okay, that's peace too, right? But it's like again, but that's a different context, right?
Right.
These are things that you know. I would say just you know, at least I'm mindful of it. You know, watching you know my own language and being sure that my language that I don't clash with you know some. Cause I like you like you would say like, well, what do you mean?
Right.
Bottom line,
yeah. Can you show and prove?
That's
yeah.
it.
I don't. What do you mean by XYZ? You know what I mean? You know, and it can't be just because someone taught me.
Right.
You have to like Prince. You have it in your thing. That's your thing.
Yeah.
You have to do your research like I did mine.
Right.
In fact, and that's how we were taught. Like I can't give you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Right. You understand it's on your own.
Right. I can show you where to go. You know what I mean? You know, you could hear you drawing it up, but you're gonna have to comprehend. You're gonna have to research. You know what I mean? You know, and understanding truly comes in time.
Right.
Yeah, you know, like you, I can right now hear and comprehend what you're saying, but then we fast forward as I'm traveling, you know, the experience. You know, you experiencing mathematics. You know, wisdom is not just the wise words that the man and woman speaks, but the life that they lived. Right. And through the course of your travel, you like, okay, oh, whoa, you know what? Look at this science. Look how this is unfolding.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then you get to seeing, you know, where that's understanding applies. You get a greater perception and picture.
Right.
You know.
Right. This knowledge has you know, really elevated my life. I see it elevating others, but then you know, the clashes is what is like you see like damn, like turn something so beautiful, and then it starts looking, you know, kind of distorted.
Okay, so here's where this statement's gonna get controversial at. So just like I remember a guy came into school and said, "Yo, man, that science is the 12 Jews. That's trash." I mean, I remember the guy, some guy was telling me because that upset him.
Right. Yeah, I think we was recording.
Yeah, right. So I was like, okay, I get it. And then we went to the same bill we kind of introduced to some guy like, yo, listen, man, look. He understood it too, because it was in signs of 120. I said, but he go my thing with the older brother. May I ask you a question? 40 years goes by. But this was the general consensus. This was the universal consensus. There was no argument.
Where did the argument come in?
Yeah. Okay, now, historically, okay. My problem is you didn't responsibly step up in time. If this was an issue now, you should have stepped up then. Not saying that correction is correction, but you didn't step up then, right? So, and where was the harm here? So I'm looking, okay, but certain things all right. For instance, you definitely have to unlearn the black when she ain't got no mind.
Oh yeah.
You know that nonsense. I'm sorry. You know, we go in there and there's certain things that would say. You have some guys that will argue to argue to the contrary. You know what I mean? You know, but you know. So anyway, there's certain things I had to unlearn. You know, that wasn't one of them. But there were certain things I had to unlearn. You know what I mean? You know, and I get that. But then there were certain things, you know, God, Allah ain't teach that. Okay, what am I saying that's detrimental?
Right.
I mean, you know, first of all, the reason why I call him the father, I mean, God gave me this bill was because of his ability to be able to see the furthest. Right? Even though Allah, I'm taught that he didn't like being called that. I'm your older brother.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, but you know, we continue to call him that, but I called him that, you know, because I'm empowering you to be our law now. That's some older brothers that argue me that you can't be him, but I'm not worshiping him. Knock it off, man. I don't care about you walking with him. I walk with him each and every day, as long as I'm teaching the truth. The peace that you walk with him, that's good. But he empowered you. But and I'm not speaking. I'm making the truth manifest and applicable in this day and time.
Right.
Like I was saying at the parliament, you have to be able to speak mathematics through technology. You got, but we're not on.
That's where the people is at.
That's just where they are. This is your street corner, where you have me right now. This is where, like this is my eye candy. Like if you're not on YouTube or TikTok, you ain't doing that. I don't care nothing about you. We're not on the corners no more. This is where look. Everybody's immersed with the phone. Everyone.
Right.
This is your second brain.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, no question. No. Yeah. Right. And he's in that. The devil's in your details. Right. Because like we going back to that bill. I don't want to, but.
The idea is to take the devil off the planet, though, right?
Right, but you take him off the technology.
Take him off the technology.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we gotta go into, like,
Yeah, that's a whole nother bill.
Developing our technology.
Right. So and he took your knowledge and wisdom, and he did what he's supposed to do. He did what he was supposed to do. But
he colonized it.
Indeed.
Right.
And now your argument is even greater because in that it's fashionable to be you. It's fashionable to wear a flag and say you God. I'm taking your flag sometimes and desecrating it. I got your flag on. I've seen this flag on a dog.
Oh wow.
Someone. Oh yeah. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna show you.
Nah.
Yeah, somebody put it on it. Your white folks is selling the flag. Right, selling the flag, selling your memorabilia, you know what I mean, whatever, and I'm like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? I was like,
In that context, God, do you sue a man because you got the flag on the dog?
Did you what?
Sue a man, like do you say that's trademark infringement?
Yeah, no question. I mean, now we going back to that.
You're going to that.
You're going to that. Yeah, with him.
Do you sue him? Like you sue? Like can you? You gonna take it to the court? It's like this is our flag, and it has our flag.
He's disrespecting it now
on a dog.
Right. He's disrespecting.
Or do you teach him?
Well, both, but I would take legal action as well.
You want to take legal action?
Yeah, they're both.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how that would be done.
I wouldn't either, God. But I'm just saying that because
how would you sue a man?
I would. I'm not the expert in that regard, but I'm just saying that I'm looking at what the recourse of action would be, but but teachable. I mean, there's other ways I would teach him too.
Yeah.
Other ways I teach him. But I'm saying, but my point is going back. I don't want to stray from the point. My point is, this is where we are now. See, right. And you have an abundance of people selling your book of life, people selling lessons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, this is the truth. You got one dude on here got the nerve to have the name of my big brother, God Supreme.
Yeah.
And he's selling that. Yeah, we hunting his dude like we yeah, man.
120 lessons as taught by, and he'll put his last former name on there.
Clarence 13.
Yeah.
You just abundantly disrespectful.
Well, again with the culture, you know what I mean. As culture grows and develops, it clashes with other cultures, and you have capitalism, right? So now capitalism, that's something that we don't. That's not the root of our culture, but people take that and because you can make a buck. It's like, well, let me make a buck out of this. I can make a buck out of this. Which is in itself like a desecration of the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not to be sold like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not how you're gonna get the culture. You're not gonna get the culture by watching these videos.
Right. You gotta come.
You gotta come among.
Right.
Culture is to be lived, right? So you gotta be. These are the things that I acknowledge why we have the vanguards who want to protect the knowledge. Like I don't get on no camera. I understand why.
Yeah, and I get
there's
the
validity
both.
behind it. Yeah,
I get both because going back to your point, and that's their point.
Yeah.
That culture has to be lived. So, and how you do it, how we got it, there was no. We're coming from rotary phone, right? There was no technology. Man, please, you had to walk, knock on somebody's door. You do. Yo, God, come on, man. Let me get that next degree. You know what I mean? This is how bad you had to get it, or call the God and hope he ain't had no lock. His mom ain't had a lock on the phone. You know what I mean? You know, whatever. Whatever. You know, but so we was in this. Yeah. Took it there. Yeah. So we had to. You had to be among. You had to walk. You had to eat. You had to break bread with your brother. How we, and that's how you got it. And that's still the rule of thumb today. But I understand on both instances. This is a platform of teaching, also. Right. But
as well as a platform of corruption.
Yeah.
You be mindful of these things.
Absolutely. On both ends. On both
yeah.
ends, absolutely. So you have to be mindful of, you have to be mindful of that, and doing so, monitoring.
Right.
You know what I mean? And again, like I know this another bill. This is a great nation, man. You have and coming back to this bill, we're in all facets of learning, all facets of areas of life. Overnight, God, our suffering would stop. Overnight, man. The wealth is like mind-boggling among the 5%.
All we gotta do is
come together. And listen. I remember Born Justice was saying this at the Parliament, and the father said, all you have to do is come together, but come together in truth. You know what I mean? Like, how are you coming together? When you coming together, come together for the purpose of you building from the premises of the truth, which is what we do. You know what I mean? So, and Dumar did it with the resource manual. You know what I mean? Because you got guards, man, law enforcement, all over the world, man. We can go from now on. I mean, so having said that, you can own your own platform. You have the knowledge, the know-how, and experience right here to overnight, man. We ain't gotta do TikTok or Facebook or none of that.
No, but that's what it's a learning curve with those things, man. And like we have that in our nation. The brothers who are the better knowers of that science, you know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of coming together. You know what I'm saying? And so I would give a call out to anybody who deals with the technology and deals with those things, and let's come together. Let's build. You know what I'm saying? Let's add on. One last thing I wanted to
tech cipher.
Huh?
A tech cipher.
A tech cipher. Yeah. Building a tech cipher.
Yeah.
True indeed. One last thing I want to touch on, God, and it speaks kind of to your point in terms of like we are in all facets of technology and in all facets of professions and all that. We're all over the world, right? So I got students and I got students in South Africa. I got relations in Japan and Philippines, all over the world. But there's different, like, so now this knowledge was fashioned specifically to the black man in America, right? Specifically. However, it has also reached the black man in Africa, right? It's reached the original people in Asia, and the question, like, the God CIYs, and we build on this often, is like, how do you teach this knowledge in that part of the world? You know what I'm saying? I just want to get your quick take on how you see it. I know we built on it before, but how do you see?
Okay, so I went to Ghana in 2018, and beautiful experience. Me in West Africa, and so the children, again, the babies, man. They playing with them. The babies, I had my flag on. So the baby asked,
What is that?
"What's that?" So I said, "Okay." I kind of took him a long way around the block because you're not going to get. You would, but that was my way. I had to. This is my way of introducing it. So what I did was, I said, I pointed to a street light, and said, "You know what that is, right?" So I said, "Okay." So this was created, actually, from a man whose family was taken from here. Gary G. Morgan created the street light. You're patting this after him. If you got street light here, it was him. He did that. That's who that was. I said, but because of that with that whole bill of the involuntary
servitude.
The introduction and how the knowledge had to come to us and whatever, and what specific knowledge came. So I had to kind of take them through. Okay, bet we were taken from here. You understand that part? We was born over here. Okay, and then people realized, hey, those are our people too. You know what I mean? So knowledge had to be sent over here, and then the development of this knowledge.
To reconnect.
Right. So people were translating to go back to the question, because I didn't speak little Chi. Chi is the language in that particular region of Ghana.
Oh, that particular region.
Yeah. Because the language varies.
Yeah.
Aqua and different places. But and I had the opportunity to speak it a little bit, but nothing not fluently. Okay. But anyway, so the question was, how would you teach that?
Right.
Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You observe. Okay, bet. Well, if I'm in this part of the world, okay, I can't be strong in their house without understanding their language. Right. This part. Right. Bow. Because make no mistake, you are a person of interest. Right. Everything you do is going to be so. Questions are going to be asked. So the language has to be reciprocal. You know what I mean? We have to be able to reciprocate. Like, okay, bet. So like the Garcia, I'm sure the God speaks Japanese. Right? He had no choice.
Japanese, Chinese, and
he's nice with it because I because
in those areas.
Right, and I've been there for a minute. You know what I mean? So, but then even then, you got the way in, but then there's still some complexities because of now. Let me get you to understand what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Cause once you speak the language, you kind of like in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So again, to answer that question, God, in conclusion, it would be to know the lay of the land. Right. My favorite line is, I get it from Farrakhan, was, "I'm not gonna be strong in my house and weak in yours." You know what I mean? I mean, let me understand who you are. Are you a Christian? I said, we can speak the Bible, the Quran. We can do that. The Bhagavad Gita, the Book of the Mormon, or whatever language it needs to be spoken in order to, But now, that question can be asked to you. You got students in West Africa and South Africa.
Well, I appreciate your answer because, that kind of ties it all in, right? Everything we talking about, like, even whether it be the 12 Jews, the newborn curriculum, power, refinement, culture, freedom, you know what I mean? Like all these different things, really talk about like what is the concept, the language of the people, right? You think about the language of the people, I'll say like for me, I came up and I got the 12 Jews, right? But then now they have the newborn curriculum. I don't have the newborn curriculum, right? But okay, let me give it somebody who actually knows that. And you expand that. So now you go to these different regions. Okay, what is the language that they speaking? Right? What is the how are they come? Okay, you learn that now you can fashion the knowledge and wisdom in their language and how that's how you communicate.
Right, God. So let me say this great, and on two notes. And one piece of God who created that newborn curriculum. I'm gonna tell you why. 'Cause that's called innovation.
Innovation, right?
Right. That's called. A lot of them teach that. Okay, This is
He
what
wanted us to be great.
right. So I mean, like, okay, no, I didn't have the privilege of walking with him. You know what I mean? I'm giving you, first of all, I'm giving you information, right, that you're going to need to put on brain prior to me giving you this, because this is what I was given. I'm not giving you supreme mathematics and alphabets off the riff, right? You want to be a 5%, then you need to know what we teach.
Right.
What we trying to achieve. You need to understand who were the first 9 born. Like when was the flag designed?
Right.
You know, when was the first parliament in Mount Morris and all that? And when did the law come home and all these things that were relative historically. So you know, and then when you understand that, then you get historically, because this is what people will ask you when they come to the door of the school. How you doing? What do you teach?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not asking.
And that's
you,
a premise of giving it to me. This is
right. So
right.
so it was innovative. No question about that. Like the 12 Jews is innovative. Let me help you. No, I don't. Supreme Mathematics, absolutely. That's no, come on, my man. Especially when it's coming from the premise of 120.
Right.
I mean, of course, like I said again, as I got older, you know, I understood that. Okay, bet, man, but that's good. You know, who doesn't have freedom, doesn't equality? It wasn't predicated upon knowledge, with understanding, and vice versa, and food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, and happiness, and whatever. You know what I mean? All these things are found within the science of 120.
Right.
So, you know, I mean.
Yeah, no, well, I appreciate God, the bell God. And actually, I actually do have one last question before we do close. In terms of like the power front down. The Shamgar article was written, I want to say in '87, right? About him, you know, about the whole power refinement thing. And you got knowledge in the '70s, right? And you said like with the 12 Jews, there wasn't an argument. Did you see an argument with refinement?
No, God, you know what?
But before that date.
No, I didn't. You know, this is not to. Okay, so let me say this. This is not to negate what originally is the science.
Right.
However, this science is being quoted in the face of people in the 70s and 73 and 75 and 76 and 80. You know, it wasn't just until later. You know, yo, man, that we take issue with this. You know what I mean? With this power, you know, such thing as whatever. Okay, all right. You know, then you have these great builds. Okay, and peace to your build. But here go my point. Back to your question. I speak more rhetorically. Where were you back then? Because we was not having this argument.
That's what I'm.
God, listen, God, and I traveled from the desert all over to Medina. You know, some people may have refinement, some people have power. You know what I mean? I don't have this, I don't have that. We fast forward. You know what I mean? But there was no great sword fight like we're doing now.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, like, again, in our process, we unlearned a lot of things, or certain things we did away with. You know, I remember, on the same note, even though I know that our names, the honorable names, actually come from the name of the European. So they're slave names and government names. But we were taught as 5%. The honorable names. Why? Because, man, the first action. Oh, yeah, right. The honorable. The first rudiments of civilization is being taught there. Whoever your guardian is. So, you know, when you meet me, I already know about yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, excuse me, pardon me, and the rudiments of etiquette and civilization, because I was taught that at home. You know what I mean? You give me the advanced version. You know what I mean? Right. You know. So So we did away with that because we were saying that that's my slave name, that's my government name. You know, what's my government? When you hear people say this day, that's my that's the 5%. Right. Because you know, again, we coined the world. Man. We gave the world. You know what I mean? The language, man. Right. Yeah. The cipher.
The world is running with right. The world is running with our language, and you know, it seems like you know. there's brothers that may come from these sharp angles and might want to cut down somebody. Oh, that's not that, and okay, I get, you want to correct it and have it in the right way, but again, like, these people are in different parts of the world, getting in different contexts, and so they drawing this up. I mean, I just want to just have these discussions so that we could put more context to these things.
I'm sorry. And lastly, so Wisdom Cipher is truth is squared in the alphabet. Mm-hmm. So quite often when people got this knowledge 20 miles outside, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're getting it differently.
Get a little differently.
Right. So, however, like I remember in Detroit, they tell you. I remember Colleen had to go there and sent some people there to Detroit to help them fix their flag. They had the colors on the wrong side. You know what I mean?
Okay. See,
and then so the guard had to go out there and boom, and like they and that this was so. But as long as you're rooted, going back to our bill, in the truth, right, then you find yourself being able to go to these places as you move about, and you'll go, where you from? You know what I mean? What you doing? And then you're able to correct them based upon the truth in which you speak. Because quite often than not, man, when people are sometimes are having these outside the root,
right,
or they're not rooted. You know what I mean? Their willingness is peace, but I'm just kind of like not having it. I'm kind of haphazard with it. Right, so they have to be taught and corrected. That's pretty much my bill with that.
Peace, God. Peace. I appreciate that. Until the next time.
Yeah, indeed, God.
Peace, God.
You must do your own research, as I did.
INFMEGA did this.